Prologue, The Brower Effect. From 2012 to 2017, I worked as a yoga teacher and trainer at a swanky downtown Toronto yoga studio. It was a posh neighborhood. There was high-end retail space on the first floor, a full schedule of interesting and pricey classes in the two upstairs studios, and the warm and altruistic owners hosted a reputable teacher training program. At some point in early 2016, or perhaps before, the owners of this studio met Elena Brower, a New York yoga celebrity with an international following. Brower had also been building a multi-level marketing fiefdom on the doTERRA essential oils platform since 2013. Now, I don't know where or how that first meeting happened. Perhaps the owners traveled to a yoga conference or to Brower's studio in Soho, because for a while it was a thing for ambitious Canadian yoga studio owners to travel to New York, Los Angeles, or San Francisco on business reconnaissance to see how the big hitters in the industry were swinging. However they met, before long, the studio owners had been sucked into Brower's doTERRA sales funnel. And Brower herself came to the studio that April for a series of workshops, one of which was focused on recruiting yet more doTERRA customers and sellers. Not long after that, I arrived for work one afternoon to see that a large chunk of the retail space had been converted to display oils and stacks of Brower's books and journals. And when I went to the bathroom downstairs, I noticed that some of the treatment rooms were shuttered. There had been several with resident massage therapists and other body workers. I opened one door to find the treatment room converted into storage for doTERRA overstock. By that summer, the owners seemed to be talking and posting about essential oils all the time. Messages recruiting staff members for adventures into oil land constituted a large chunk of the internal communications. The language was vague but urgent. Everyone had to find their life purpose. Everyone had to be empowered with better household cleaning choices. Everyone needed inner transformation and financial freedom. Many of the younger staffers were enlisted, and prospective students in training programs were invited to doTERRA soirees. I found it odd that everyone was trying to sell little bottles of oil to each other. I couldn't figure out how it was working. Of course, it wasn't. I didn't know much about MLMs at that point, but I think that even if I had, I would never have guessed that a robust business like this could be ensnared in something so corrupt. But that's one of the things these companies do so well. The image management is so top-notch that it can goad even a well-organized and successful downtown yoga studio into becoming a pump-and-dump essential oil clearinghouse. But the other thing I had no real idea of at that time was what it might have felt like on the inside of a Brower-type machine, where yoga, life coaching, and MLM sales could lead to extremely toxic dynamics, hidden by a pseudofeminism that pretends to uplift women while actually spiritualizing the worst aspects of predatory capitalism. Chapter 1, You Used Me as a Prop. One view on what the Brower effect felt like hit medium on September 23rd, when Tatum Fierstead posted an open letter to Elena Brower. The subtitle gives a content warning for spiritual and emotional abuse. There are a lot of passages that stand out in this piece, and here's a good one to start with. I interviewed Tatum for this episode, and we'll hear clips of that at the end, but I also asked her to read the following into her phone to kick us off.
Do you remember when I had an anxiety attack during the Art of Attention teacher training in 2014? I was in the back of the room, trying to calm myself down quietly, and you saw that my attention wasn't on you, so you yelled in a stern voice for me to come to the front of the room. I said, "No, I don't want to." And you said, "Come here, right now." I don't know what I thought you would do if I didn't listen to you, but I sat next to you and you told me to turn my head to the left and breathe. I obeyed. You gently put your hand on my back, which is a confusing thing to do to someone after yelling at them when they are already very dysregulated. You continued to lecture as I sat there in front of 30 plus women and disassociated. No one spoke up for me. Everyone seemed to revel in awe at your perceived magic because they all thought you calmed me down, not knowing that I had just unhinged myself from reality in order to keep myself safe. You used me as a prop. You didn't ask me what I needed. You assumed to know, and you were wrong. But it didn't matter, because you were perceived in a way you wanted to be, and that seems to be more important to you than the harm you caused.